Alrighty, assalamu alaikum. Let's get started, inshallah. So today's topic, we have been talking about it throughout the course of this school year. How to motivate our children, right? So elementary, middle, and high school. Before we get started with that, I just got off of an amazing training. It's called Internal Family Systems. I'm trying to specialize in that. It's tapping into ourselves and try to be a better person. Oh yeah, just really quick. So I'm Miss Seda. I'm the school counselor at Skokie. And go ahead.
I'm Miss Linda. I'm the school counselor at Morton Grove. Yeah, we both, most of you know us. We both have been working together, but separately at different campuses. We're both licensed professional counselors. We, as you know, do different work with students, with parents, with families.
I also see clients on the side. I love working with kids. I'm beginning to notice that I love working with kids and families, so I'm going to be doing that, inshallah. All right, so this is the objective, right? Purpose of this workshop is to discuss motivation and how it affects our children, to provide research-based, backed strategies for parents to implement better motivating our kids. But before we do that, you don't have to close your eyes. You don't have to do any of that. If you feel like you want to do it, if you feel like you get to focus a little bit more, go ahead and do that. Just take a second to deep breathe. Take a deep breath. A couple of deep breaths. People who are watching online, we're just calming ourselves down a little bit. Tap into yourself. If you have any thoughts that are coming up right now, maybe take a second to address those. Maybe a thought could be, why is Miss Sayla doing this atrocious meditation thing? Right? Just check it. Like we're just hanging out, just getting to know ourselves a little bit more, right? And then a couple more deep breaths, and then we get started. All right, so what does motivation look like for you? This is for the audience, for people at home too, who are watching. What does motivation look like for you personally, and then also what does motivation look like at home? Take a second to think about that, and then no pressure. If you want to share, you can. If you don't want to share, you don't need to. We would love for you to share, but if you don't want to, that's fine too. Whatever's comfortable for you at this moment.
It could be your motivation as a parent as well.
Just knowing what the results would be. So I'm motivated to be like, okay, if I do this, or if we aim to do this with the kids, we will have this, just to get an end result or something close to it.
Okay.
Getting free time, getting something done, and you get to have like a reward.
Yeah, a reward. Oh, that's a good one.
Like reaching a milestone, try and get this done by the end of this month, as personally.
Okay.
And I can get to that milestone that I wanted to have done by the end of this month. So.
That could also be like a reward, right?
A reward, yeah.
Reward, yeah.
And it works for kids too.
For
Sure,
Children,
yeah. Works for kids.
Anybody else? Motivation. What does motivation look like personally? Right? As you, what does motivation look like as a parent? What does motivation look like in the home? Anybody else? Any of the dads? I love it when dad comes. I've been saying this a lot.
Finding relief after some form of struggle.
Finding a relief after a struggle. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Anybody else? You? No. I'm like looking at you. Okay. Yeah.
All right, so what is motivation? When it comes down to it, right, we are all motivated by something, right? So like this is a simple like thing. You have a need, you have hunger, right? So your behavior is motivated by the hunger, right? So you go down, get online or get on the computer, or your phone or whatnot, right? You order and you get the order, you have a hamburger, and you goal achieved, right? So motivation comes from your needs, right? You have many different kinds of needs, like physical, emotional, right? And some of those are like biological, right? Like the need to eat, the need to drink water, right? And your beliefs and your feelings and everything is basically kind of contingent on those needs, right? Kind of contingent. So all your motivation is to fulfill those needs, right? And that's kind of becomes your purpose in life, right? You have a need, you're motivated, you fulfill it, that's your purpose, right? So that's kind of like a basic understanding of motivation. But for kids, right? Kids are motivated by different things, right? Tasks that feel meaningful, feeling capable, expectations that are clear, right? And then if they feel that success is achievable, right? So those are kind of different, right, for kids. So when it comes to understanding motivation, there's intrinsic and there's extrinsic.
Intrinsic motivation. Have y'all heard of this before?
Yeah.
You have? Oh, Miss Burrier, go ahead. Oh.
Intrinsic motivation was my kids don't have.
What about?
Yeah, I had it in the same kind of like, intrinsic is something that you enjoy, something that you're supposed to be doing because you like doing it.
You like doing it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So intrinsic motivation, like engaging in activities because they are inherently interesting and enjoyable. What are some interesting things that motivate you on a daily basis? Examples.
Exercising.
Exercising could be one, yeah. Reading. Going for walks, right? That could be a good motivation. And then extrinsic motivation is engaging in activities for external outcomes like rewards, praise, or to avoid negative consequences. Examples of that. Can you all think of any example of that?
Avoid getting in trouble with the teacher at school.
Avoid getting in trouble with the teacher at school, right? Yeah, that's a big one. And that's something that we are consistently, because we're in a school setting, we always are dealing with that.
Or getting praised by a teacher, or getting the grade that you want, right? Basically avoiding negative consequences in general. But why do kids become unmotivated? This is something that is like a big topic amongst a lot of educators, right? But we know that like students can feel overwhelmed. They can experience an anxiety. They can experience boredom, right? They can feel like something is too easy, right, which makes them bored. Or they could feel like something is too hard, which feeds into their fear of failure, right? They can also have executive functioning challenges. So we talked extensively about executive functioning in our last workshop, but it does tie into motivation.
Pop quiz. What is executive functioning? We talked about this extensively. What's executive functioning?
What's an example of executive functioning?
Like feeling responsible to get something done, like independently.
Yeah.
Between tasks.
So
Transitioning.
Transitioning. And starting tasks, stopping tasks, right?
Yeah.
Organization is one of them, right?
And management, emotional regulation.
Emotional regulation is a big one. Yep.
Yeah, so these all tie into motivation as well. So you have to understand basically the root cause of your child's lack of motivation, right? It's not that they're being lazy. Like, lazy is a word that we throw around a lot, but very few in our experience working with kids, very few kids are just lazy, right? They're usually not performing or not motivated because of something, right? Because either they lack clarity, they lack confidence, or they lack connection. And you really have to like kind of be a detective and like see what part of these three things your child is lacking, right? And that's contributing to their lack of motivation. So there is a self-determination theory, which basically means that kids seek to be independent, they seek competence, and they seek connection, right? and that's really like how they fulfill all their needs, right? And that's how they develop intrinsic motivation, right? Intrinsic motivation doesn't just come; it's not just something that is innate, right? It forms, right, over time by being independent, by having choices, by being validated, right, by feeling like you're competent, you're able to learn, you're able to master something, and then by feeling like you belong, right? Whether that's in your family or with your friends of group or whatnot. Basically, this is like a theory that a lot of psychologists throw around. Do you want to expand?
So I am all about like autonomy. If you give kids, teenagers, a choice, they feel empowered to do X, Y, or Z, whatever you want them to do, right? It could, and then that can show they are capable of doing whatever they need to do, whatever the task is at hand. And if also like relatedness, right, feeling a sense of belonging, connectedness. If I'm just this is something on the side, but if there is something that they like to do, there is a lot more motivation to get that thing done, right? That's why I love autonomy. Like I love giving choices. Obviously, we don't want to give them a lot of choices. We don't want to give them like 5 choices. We give them top 2 choices, and then they choose whichever they want to do or complete or however we want to put it.
All right. So the vicious cycle happens when there is like a challenge, right? Something that's very difficult, and it could have to do with executive functioning difficulties, right, or a deficit. And then the task is avoided, right? So the outcome is the task is avoided. It's too hard, I avoid it, right? And then I get frustrated, and then I have an anxiety and shame and all of this, and maybe my parents are also feeding into that, right? And saying like, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. So I'm frustrated, I'm ashamed, right? And then I start to believe that I'm lazy, I can't do this, I'm bad at everything, right? And then the result is less motivation. So it goes round and round and round, and it's hard to like break this, vicious cycle. But what can break it is like what we said, having autonomy, right? Having independence, and that comes mostly from adults kind of supporting that, right? Adults giving choices, adults allowing a child to feel like they are empowered, that they can make decisions, that they can be responsible, that they can come up with good ideas on their own, right? Which helps them feel capable, which also helps them feel connected to the adult, whether that's a teacher or a parent or any adult in their life, right? All 3 of these things are required in order to sustain motivation over time.
Okay, so some of the signs, I'm sure we all know our children best, right? Some of the signs, obviously we put this on here because these are like common things that you can pick out. Avoidance, procrastination, emotional shutdown, trouble initiating tasks, inconsistent performance, right? Take a second to, after you've read this, take a second to reflect on what are some struggles that your own children, like our own children, struggle with. And I'm going to give this out to you. Just take a second to think, and then we can have like a dialogue, right? Like so that we can make this more engaging, inshallah. So I've shared this before. My oldest is 10 years old, and he's diagnosed with ADHD. All of this and more. So yeah, was it on? Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So he's in band and he plays cello, and he has band practice on Tuesdays. He knows that. I can't give him more than 1 or 2 step instructions. Like I have to say, get up, brush your teeth, and then I gotta follow up again because he won't follow through. So I said, he got dressed up and everything like that before I drop him. I drop him off and then I come to work, and I was like, grab your cello, grab your band, and then I'm gonna drop you off. He didn't do that. He just walked out the house. I'm like, bro, come on. You're like, so a lot of times what happens is that we want to be able to be mindful of how we react, because our stressors, our anxieties and our stressors can be picked up by our kids. Our kids are pretty smart. They know when they're not doing what they need to do, and when they know when you're gonna be pissed off or stressed, right? So I was like, come on, like I'm sitting in the car, I'm like, come on, man, we're late already. So he's like, he goes back in. So it was really cold yesterday, right? Like, as it is. So he had his snow pants, he had his jacket on, and he became hot. So instead of grabbing the cello, he took out his jacket and his snow pants. And I'm like, what? So in the moment, right? Like whatever is going to meet the need the child is going to do. It doesn't matter if the child has ADHD or not. Whatever seems right in the moment, they are going to do. So in the moment, he thought, I'm hot, like I need to take my jacket off. And then I was like, no, like come on, like. So I'm like rushing him. He's freaking out. I'm freaking out. And then we didn't get anywhere. So I was like, all right, let's take 5. Let's cool down a bit. And I was like, I'll grab your cello. You put your jacket on. We kind of teamworked. We finally went to school. It was like a 5-minute thing, took like 10 minutes. So we were already late. So yeah. Anything else that comes up for you all, like struggles? Yeah. I know we've been talking about how mornings have been always a struggle, right? What?
I think I can relate to that.
Do you want a mic? Okay.
I'm okay. So no, you can hear me. Yeah, I can relate to that. Emotional shutdown is something I haven't seen in my child yet.
Okay.
But the other stuff we consistently talk about, how inconsistent these things have become for us. And like you said, I think my struggle isn't recognizing this. My struggle is how I react to it.
Yeah.
So like this
That's a
morning
big one.
we had a very similar incident. We were running late. I was like, I'm coming inside the school with you. I want to attend the meeting too. Come. And I tell him, I gave him 2-step instructions. Go into the bathroom and brush your teeth. I already put the toothpaste on the brush. Took a little longer to put my own hijab on and go in. He's standing there throwing water on the mirror because he saw a fly. And I'm like, what are you doing, right? And I lost it. And I said, I'm going to take you to Miss Mushtaba's office today in the morning. And he started crying. And my husband was like, you can't react like that, right? Because I was upset. I'm like, we're going to take you. We're getting late. And then I was like, I was thinking, maybe I shouldn't have said that because he was like proper crying. But that's the problem, like the initiating of tasks. Like you said, maybe I gave 3 instructions and he didn't get it.
Yeah.
He did 2 and he forgot the rest. And he's standing there thinking, well, what was I supposed to do next? And it's right there, the toothbrush is right in front of him. And he didn't see it. And so that's like a very consistent thing that we always have, and we're trying to break down the task. But you know, when you're rushing in the morning, as an adult, you speak like an adult too. And because he understands everything, I'm like, you understand everything, you should be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, in the morning, like, right? Like, there's no, coming from you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, like, from a child's perspective, in the morning, there's no motivation to do stuff. Right? Like, you're it's like you as a parent, you're exerting yourself onto your child because you have to get somewhere.
Because we know that
Because your motivation is to.
they don't.
Exactly. Like our motivation is not transferable to them. in the
Not
morning.
at all. Yeah. Not at all,
And then to kind
unfortunately.
of like to end to that story, and as I was leaving, I said, "Oh, sorry, Suleiman, I didn't mean to kind of like have that at you." And then he goes, "See, I told you the wrong time to do gussa. Morning time is the wrong time, Mama. I told you it's not going to work." And I was like, so my husband was like, "Suleiman, apologize and get in the car." So I was like, he knew that there was something wrong, that Mama's like disconnecting, Mama's getting off too much in the morning. This is not the right time, and he was upset, but he also knew this is not the usual.
Yeah.
So I almost wanted to laugh out loud, but I was like, get in the car.
He does have a point though.
He does have a point. Yeah, it made me think about it.
I have this little post-it around my house because I realize our reactions are their actions. So I put it like, so I have like in my kitchen and I switched my office room. So it says, just relax, they're young.
Yeah.
And I said, our reactions equal to their actions. And I picked that up because when I would get frustrated. I noticed my kids would react like that, right, later on, because they picked up on it and we don't realize it. But I think a struggle with my children and myself is that, alhamdulillah, there are multiple children, right? Mm-hmm. So one is in the phase of brushing their teeth while the other one is trying to get, like, you know, getting their socks on or this and that. So, you know, they pick up like what you said to the other kid, and then they go over there and they're like, oh wait, no, I'm like, no, your clothes are in that room, you know, like, so it's just, I think just with them being, you know, multiple kids at home, the instructions are all over the place, right?
Exactly.
So, and then the expectations for each kid based on their age is different. So we share a room with our youngest just because he's too attached, and that's okay because that's the only way we get sleep. So I have a morning routine with pictures there. And I have it for my older kids too, but by now they somewhat get it. You just have to remind them. So he will go to that. I have it laminated, put it right by the bathroom at his eye level, and he's like, use the bathroom. And then one of them says shower. It's like, no, that's only on the weekends. You know, and then I'm like, just brush, because they shower at night on weeknights. So it's just like a step by step for him to kind of get used to it. Like, this is what we need to do. But
How has that helped with getting them motivated to be consistent?
because they go to the next step.
Okay.
So with him, it has worked. With my older ones, they're past it, so that motivation's gone. Other than if I say, "Oh, maybe we can forget screen time today."
Yeah.
That motivation is like there. Okay, that's top tier motivation. Your 1 hour of iPad you cannot get. That and lately we've just been telling them like playing with their toys. Like I'm trying to we got like Legos now. Like, well, they've had Legos, but like a new box.
Yeah.
That's another motivation. Like, okay, you can use this box today if we get so and so done on time.
The recycling idea, like.
I have to get to that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have time next month because I'll have to be working unless I find something. So,
Okay.
inshallah.
All right. Cool. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate it.
All right, so executive functioning challenges do impact motivation, right? Like we said, task initiation, there's like a block, right? And your child just can't get through any task or start even the task, right, without extra reminders, extra help, right? Cognitive overload and planning deficits, basically difficulty breaking down big tasks into smaller tasks, or estimating time or organizing things ahead of time to get the task done, right? Emotional dysregulation, right? That's a big thing. If your child struggles to manage their frustrations or emotions, or they are like critical of themselves, right? That's something that also blocks motivation, right? Decrease in self-confidence, right? If they have had repeated failures or have done things that have like not led to the right outcome, right? Then their self-esteem, their self-confidence has gone down, right? If they're distracted or they have focus issues, right? This is also impacts motivation, right? If they have poor time management skills, right? If they feel like deadlines are just way off, like I'm not even going to start until like the day before, right? That's impacts motivation. All of these different things impact motivation.
There is I was gonna just add to that. Do you all think that there is a correlation between self-confidence and motivation? Just a thought. Yeah? How? Correlation between self-confidence and motivation.
Because if you can feel like you can do it, it's gonna push you to do it. If like your mindset plays a big role.
For sure.
Right, like I was in a meeting yesterday and I made a comment, and so someone else was like, well, if that's how you're gonna think, then you're not gonna achieve it, right? And I was like, man, that's right. So your mindset of like, okay, I think I can do it, like you have that confidence, like I've done it before, I'm gonna do it again, right? So
right, it goes back into the capability that we talked about, right? Believing that you are capable or able to do whatever task it is.
Go ahead.
Back when I was teaching, sometimes kids get.
Oh, you were a teacher too?
Yeah. well, this is 10 years ago. Kids sometimes get this learned helplessness.
Oh, yes.
Where they just believe that they're helpless, like they cannot do it, and so they just kind of shut down. And as
The baby in the family usually thinks that. Okay.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, we definitely see in our so
Yeah.
educators and parents, they have to like you have to build their
Their
confidence so they do stuff.
Yeah. Encouragement, extra praise, yes, definitely. So when it comes to like teenagers, especially, or
Who
preteens,
has experienced this? Or are we there yet?
I
are we
don't
not
care
there yet?
mentality. Yes. So the lack of motivation is a form of resistance, right? The kid saying "I don't care" to the adult or to the parent is basically them trying to control, right? Trying to gain that control by making you go crazy, basically. All right. So like once you realize that like your teen is motivated to do nothing, that nothing is actually them doing something, right? Because it takes a lot of energy to do nothing. It takes a lot of energy to resist parents over and over and over, right? So like parents need to realize that like motivation, that is the child's motivation. Their motivation is to resist, right? Is to gain that power, that control over their life, right? And say that just because you said I have to do it, I'm not going to do it, and that's my way of gaining control, right? Also, the I don't care mentality takes the pressure off of them and makes them feel like they're in control, right? When they feel anxious, it soothes them to say I don't care, right? It's kind of like they're trying to buy into that mentality, right? They feel like nervous, they have a deadline coming up or something, but if they tell themselves I don't care, then that's kind of like a stress reliever, right? That's kind of like oh well, I don't have to do this. Right, so there is additional articles that I put up here if you are interested in learning more. I know a lot of you are parents of elementary students, but there is a lot more in these articles about like the I don't care mentality and how to address it, right? How to motivate an unmotivated child, that's a good one, and how to give kids consequences that work, right? Because not all consequences work with adolescent students, and you have to kind of be aware of that.
Even I just want to add, like even with like setting consequences, we as parents need to be consistent. I think one of the things that we fall short of is being consistent with our how we reprimand our kids. Like with the I don't care mentality, like we definitely need to be consistent and challenge that.
Right. All right, so the 3 C's of motivation: connection, choice, and chunking, right? So we're going to get into like the research-backed strategies, right? So breaking up any task into steps, right? Using positive reinforcement, giving structured choices, not just choices that are open-ended, right? Structured choices, and then connect tasks to interests, right? Try your best to kind of understand how, or explain how certain tasks connect to what they're interested in, right? So building effective routines. We talked a lot about this in our parent circles, right? Having predictable routines that reduce stress, right? A morning checklist, we talked about that. We said visual schedules, which one of the parents also just shared. And then maintaining consistent expectations, like Ms. Saida just said. When it comes to chunking, basically, what the picture is showing, right? Something that is linear is more difficult to achieve than if you break it up into steps, into small steps that you can go up like a ladder, right? A staircase, right? And creating a startup routine, right? Creating a step-by-step routine for the mornings, for example, right? We talked a lot about that. And then visual checklists, things that are visual that kids can refer to, right? Posting that on walls where they can see it.
What are some examples that you all can think of that could be chunky, like in your own like house right now that you're doing? For me, it could be like again like morning routines. Oh, actually, maybe after school when we come back, come home, put your stuff up wherever they need to be, and then grab a snack. Right? 2 very easy, doable tasks that they can do. Anything that you all can think of that has been working, that has not been working, and maybe as a team right here, we can talk about it.
It could also be with homework as well. Like if they have a project to do, right? You know, the project is due on Friday, and it's like Thursday of the week before, right? Breaking it up into steps and telling them like what you're going to work on, what they're going to work on, or you're going to help them with every single day, right? Leading up to that Friday. That's something that's like, yeah, they're able to understand, right?
But what if your child says you have a project the night before it's due?
There is no chunking there. You just go linear up and finish it overnight.
Finish it overnight.
Just stay up all night finishing it for them.
Finish it for them. Yeah, I'm guilty of doing that numerous times.
So, like, I was helping my kid with one of this, literacy week things this week, and I helped print things out, and I was like, oh, let me print out the title for you, and that was, how we're saying we're doing it, even though it's in advance in time. And he goes, no, I want some of my work on there.
Oh.
And I was like, so like sometimes even for parents to take that step back,
Oh yeah.
it's big. And I was like, yeah, he's got a point. But
That's motivation.
yeah, and it was his own motivation, his own thing. Like, I want my work in there, and I was like, okay. I gave him an idea of like, draw a ninja mask on top.
Yeah.
Like he got that, but he did it on his own and stuff, and I liked it. And sometimes it's like, it's so important for us to just listen to them too, right? But I don't know. Like one of the things I've been struggling with, and is when they come back from school, I tell them in the car. I remind them step by step. We're gonna go in, put our jackets away the right place, take our shoes off, put them by the wall. Take out your lunch bags, put it next to the sink, and your water bottle. Now I came to a point. I got a little cart in my kitchen for them to be like,
Oh my god.
put it here and roll it over there if you want.
That's so cute.
And I'm
Is
just
it working?
I have just to remind them like 5 times if
Use
they're
the card.
complaining.
Use the car.
Yeah, one additional step you added to it.
I bought one where I was like, maybe this will help. Like maybe it will get them to be like, oh, I want to push it today, type of thing. But good God, I've broken it down in chunks. I've done visuals, and for whatever reason, it's a struggle.
So I think one of the things that we need to understand is that this is going to be an ongoing struggle, right?
Well,
Like,
It's been 4 years for my oldest
Yeah,
kid. He's been, or 5 years. He's been in school, right? So
Yes,
it's like,
yes.
why have you not mastered this by now?
that's a really good question. But I think
What's their motivation to do
like what?
Dang.
This is
that? Like you're motivated because you want to keep a clean house or a tidy front door, right?
You're
But-
motivated to get to
But
get
what's
that
their
car.
motivation?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're like, it's fine on the floor. It's
Yeah.
there.
That's true. I guess it's the black motivation.
Right. So like if they're
Okay.
not gonna, so it is gonna be a consistent struggle, and it's gonna be us like banging our heads against the wall, right? Like if we don't find what is gonna be motivating our oldest.
Okay.
But how do you do that without like feeling like, I feel like we're stuck in this loop of I have to reward everything you
Yeah,
do
yeah.
in order to get you to do it. And to me, it's kind of like, well, it's your stuff, just pick it up.
But things
Well,
are
how do you
going on.
motivate them?
This generation is different than when
I
we
also
grew up.
feel like, are we babying them to that point?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so we have to also teach our kids to be independent so that they can, so I don't want my kids to be slobs where they're just like, my jacket's over there, right? Like, to me, I'm not comfortable
It's
with
like,
that.
okay, you get 10 more extra minutes of screen time if you put your things where they go. But it's like,
But in life, you're not always going to get that reward.
Right. I think for me as a parent, I came to the realization that some things they're just gonna have to wait till they're older to do, right? And wait till they're older to be able to consistently follow through with, because that's gonna become their motivation when they're adults, right? To keep a neat house or to keep things where they belong or stuff like that. But the struggle is real with kids, but I mean, when it comes to motivation, there really isn't a lot we can do other than reward, right? Like this is kind of like this generation's like thought process, right? And they live in the instant gratification era, right? Where like everything is like right away. So it's hard to kind of break away from that. But I get that's like a kind of, I call it an old school mentality of like, well, why are you rewarding them for things that they are supposed to do anyway? Well, because we have to. Like there isn't like a choice. I don't feel like there's really a choice. And that's what like a lot of this is based on, right? Is like we have to have some kind of system for them to follow. And at least, in the meantime, while they're school-age children, right? Later on, life will teach them later on, kind of how to get rewarded through keeping a neat house, through keeping things where they belong. If you lose something, you can find it only if you put it back where you originally got it, right? They'll understand this later on, I feel like, in life. That doesn't mean you should give up on trying. You can continue to try, right? And we should really believe in, planting those seeds, and that later they will blossom, right? And how many times have we, thought back to our childhood when our parents said things, right? And we really didn't take it seriously back then, but now it means something, right? So that's.
I should have learned cooking.
It's a double-edged sword, by the way. I made that mistake, okay? I made the mistake of telling my husband when I first met him. Don't do that.
Definitely don't do that. One of the things that has worked for me, and I mean it's a work in progress, right? We haven't excelled in it right now. Rewarding them, like I've said this before too, like rewarding them at the end of the week, right? Like if you have done all of the necessary tasks Monday through Friday, you will get the reward, whatever you choose, at the end of the week. So that you're not rewarding them after every task that they do, but you are chunking it at the end of the week. I don't know, maybe we're gonna try that. Let me know how it goes. Yeah, go ahead.
Good, you had your hand up.
Okay. One thing that worked for my 10-year-old, which we're still working for my 6-year-old, but for weekends, the 10-year-old always wants to do so many things and complains he didn't get to do it. And so on Friday night or Saturday morning, I asked him like, okay, what do you want to do, and when are you going to do it? And homework has to be in there somewhere, because he gets more homework than the younger one. So he'll say, okay, after breakfast I'm going to do one homework, then I'm going to do this activity. After lunch I'll do this homework, and then I'll do this activity, because he wants to play with his sibling, and then he wants to do this. Like he has so many plans for the weekend. So sometimes he does one thing and then doesn't get to do other things he wants to do. So like it's been working. It's a work in progress, but it's better to have them like kind of plan out their weekend.
That's actually a really good idea because hey, welcome to the adulthood, right?
Yeah.
We don't get to do everything that we plan to do. We get to do, if we plan 10 things, we only probably get to do 2. That's a really good idea for him to get that motivation going.
The 6-year-old, I mean, I make her like checklist, but like getting her to do, like she's more chill, like she doesn't she's fine with anything. So we're still trying to figure out what motivates her. But like the 10-year-old
There's always something.
Yeah. So the 10-year-old has things he's deeply connected to, so that drives him to get like, okay, so do some tasks and then do some free time.
A challenge I've come across with doing something like that, and I don't think we see it. So I'm a very like OCD person. I've gotten better at it, right? But I think I was slowly instilling that in my children. So one of my kids, I had everything planned, the meal planned, what they're having for snack, what they're having the snack, because it makes my life easier for me to prepare everything and all that. And one day he was in preschool, and he didn't know how to handle the change. It's like his thing was, I have to finish this, because that's what he sees it as, like this is what we do first, and we move on to this. So then that's where I was like, and I used to be big on like we're doing this first and this and then you realize that each child kind of takes it differently. One takes it like this is written in stone and I have to do it this way. So I have like a meal plan for their lunch, right? And he's like, well, no, tomorrow's snack you have yogurt. Why are you saying you're gonna do this? And I'm like, oh wow, right? So like, so it's like how I want to also teach them to have that flexibility to understand like go with the flow, right? So that one thing works with one kid, and the other one it becomes a challenge.
Okay. Yeah. This next slide that I love talking about, like like connection, and all that jazz. Like I love that. One of the things that I don't know if this works for you all, right? Like maybe this is something maybe we can be curious about. If that could be I mean, I don't know how much it's going to work, but like a thought just came up where if you do what you need to do, maybe you could spend 10 minutes with me as a reward with mom or dad, right? Like that get that connection going too. I don't know if it's going to work. Sometimes, we're at a point where the younger ones do want to hang out with us, but the older ones don't, right? Maybe it's true. Does your older ones want to hang out with you?
It's pretty weird. They still do.
Oh, that's cute.
Sometimes it's when I'm really busy. And I would almost prefer if they didn't. And I'm like, oh, this might go away. So that is actually a big motivator for them.
That's awesome, yeah. Like, I would bank on that.
I was going to jump in and say that for my kids being older, 14, 12, 10,
Yeah.
their big motivator is getting to hang out with friends.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, the quickest way for me to have a clean house is to say, so-and-so can't come over until the house is clean.
It works.
It's like they have gyms working for them. Or you can go over there when the house is
Then
clean.
the house is clean.
Yes.
Then it's like, boom, things
Yeah.
happen so quick.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to just use their word and just rip it and just make it work for you, right? Like, you just gotta do that, yeah.
The other thing for us is also like my wife is much more adamant about having a really orderly house, and I am not. But then I kind of show the kids like, hey, look, you see, like they're looking for something and they can't find it. And I say, Mom always says, put stuff back where it's supposed to be. How much easier would this have been if you had done that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I try to kind of, I feel bad not stick it to them, but sort of be like, see, it's not just her being upset about this or being OCD with hospitality. It has a practical outcome.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and like natural consequences, right? When you don't put stuff
And
back, you
now
don't know
we're
where it
like,
is.
go to your friend's house because you're looking for your snowpants.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But like building that parent-child connection is very important to motivate, especially young kids. Just like it could be just like a 5 to 10 minute just activity that you do together. It could be like like a cooking thing with your child as well. It's just the fact that it gives an opportunity for you to kind of be like emotionally in tune with them, right? To mirror their feelings, right? Verbally and not verbally, and validate their experiences, right? That's what they're looking forward to, right? Without them telling you, right? That's really what they're looking forward to, and like the fact that your kids want to spend time with you. It just means that they feel validated by you, right? They feel like there's a connection, right? So modeling calm problem solving, right? And then using empathy statements, right? Like I can imagine how frustrating something is, right? When they're feeling frustrated or overwhelmed, right? Saying like I would feel the same way if I were you, right? Trying to like reduce their emotional reactivity, right? Teaching them to pause, and that means teaching ourselves too, and modeling that ourselves, right? Pause, breathe, right? A mental countdown, right? Rephrase it or reframe the thought, right? Or the whatever's coming up for you, right? The use of halt. So check if you personally as a parent, if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, right? Then all these things are gonna come up, right? When there's a emotional reactivity from kids, right? That is causing like stress. So it's a moment.
Just piggyback on that, like it's just missed the thought.
I hate it when that happens.
The language. So the language aspect of it. It is so important to be mindful of how you speak to your kids instead of like reacting this way, right? We talked about this where just take a pause. If you feel halt, just take a pause. Just verbally say, I'm going to take 5 right now, and then I'll come back and then we can talk about it. That way you're setting a good example for your kids, for our kids, moving forward. And then like literally like using I statements. I love I statements, right? Like I feel X, Y, or Z. That way you're putting the blame on you and not the child.
Right. How many times have we snapped because we were tired and we didn't get enough sleep, or like we're hungry, we didn't get our coffee in the morning, right? Or like we're just feeling like angry, right? So like checking ourselves, right?
I'm cutting down coffee and chai, so I'm a mess in the morning.
That's my
I gotta check myself every time.
All right, so the 10-minute connection ritual. So let your child lead, right? If you're doing an activity for 5 to 10 minutes, let them lead the activity. Don't try to like give options or suggest things, right? Let them make the suggestion of what to play with, whether that's Legos or something else, or baking something in the kitchen or something like that, right? Accept them as they are, right? Don't expect perfection. Don't think that it has to be a certain way, whatever you're doing, right? And then foster predictability, right? Stick to the same time every day that you spend these 5 to 10 minutes with your child, and they start to really enjoy it. My 13-year-old constantly tells me when he was 3 or 4, we used to do like something called Mommy and Me Special Time, right? And it's because that's the time when I had my second child, and he took a lot of my attention, right? So I spent it was no more than 15 minutes sitting on his bedroom floor playing with it. He still remembers that. 10 years later, he still remembers that. Yeah, it's still you remember when we used to? I was like, wow, it had a profound impact. So
that's motivation for us, right?
All right, so fostering a growth mindset, one of the parents mentioned before too, right? Praising strategy, not intelligence, right? Praising effort, not intelligence. Normalizing mistakes, teaching them to have positive self-talk, right, instead of negative self-talk. Some parenting tools that we've also mentioned in our parent circles, like reward charts, right? This is just a very basic one for little kids. Using timers, right, the Pomodoro method, visual checklists, and then making goals, like goal setting together, and that could be in any kind of worksheet that you can find online. I want to accomplish this by the end of the school year, whether that's good grades or good behavior, whatever it is, right?
Have you guys tried the Pomodoro method?
So this is a link. We're going to share these slides. If you click on it, it will tell you more about the whole Pomodoro method.
So it gives an example, right? 25 minutes of working and 5 minutes of resting. So you can work for consistent 25 minutes without any distractions. Remove all the distractions, and then you add the 5 minutes in to take a break or do what you need to do.
Yeah,
So
and both are timed using a timer. Yeah. So timers and routines, praising effort, using calm, neutral tone when you're speaking to your kid, right? Whether or not they're having a big reaction or not, just making sure that you stay calm and you stay, you keep the same tone, right? And avoiding power struggles, right? The way to avoid power struggles is just to offer choices, right? Whether they're yelling or whatnot, you tell them, okay, this. You have 2 choices. This is choice number 1. This is choice number 2, and then. Okay, they still continue, right, with their outbursts or whatnot. Again, this is choice number 1, this is choice number 2. You just repeat it until maybe they need 5 minutes to process it, right? So give them that time and be like, okay, you want choice number 1, choice number 2. These are the choices, right? Just staying consistent and saying it over and over, right? Giving them choices, right? Letting them pick which order that they want to complete a task in, right? Maybe they have a better way to do it. Maybe it's better if they put away their shoes first or their lunchbox first before they put away their jacket and their shoes, right? Maybe letting them choose which way to do a task, right? Letting them choose where they want to work, their workspace, as long as it's appropriate. And choosing when to begin a task. You say you can start now, you can start in 3 minutes, right? This is your choice. And then having them complete a task to accomplish the same goal, right? So telling them you have a 10-minute reading timer, right? You get to choose the book, whatever book you want. We're putting on the timer for 10 minutes, right?
is there a set time where you guys do homework? Yeah, okay. And then is it easy transition from whatever they're doing to whatever the homework is? No.
It depends.
Typically.
Us?
Right when you get home.
Yeah, I don't let them get into something
Or else
else.
you have to figure out a transition.
Yeah.
Figure stuff away, pack your lunch for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait till we get to pack your
Oh,
lunch
goodness,
stage.
yeah.
We're only at snack stage somewhat.
Each family and each household is gonna be different, a little different, right? But letting the kid choose the order in which they complete something, right? Actually gives them a lot of autonomy, right? Gives them a lot of the feeling of independence, right? That they can do it, that they can choose. They make the choice. You're not just telling them, ordering them to do things.
I let them choose their time, and then we follow through.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Stick to what he's saying. So he's like, okay, can I do homework before TV time today or after TV time today?
So give
Can I
you
do it
that
after
choice.
dinner? So I give him a choice where I'm okay with it too. So
You gotta be okay with that, for
yeah,
sure.
because I can't do it right before bedtime when he's like, all
Yeah.
over the place. But then he's like, yeah, I think I like that one, and I'm like, great, let's move on with it.
Yeah.
So
Right.
kind of
Yeah. So I know we've talked a lot and we've given a lot of strategies and stuff, but just for your own sake, right? You just need to identify one challenge that you want to work on, right? And then pick one or two strategies that you want to use, and then create a helpful script, right? You have to be ready with a script of what you want to say to your child, right? Don't try to come up with it in the moment, right, on the spot, right? Because then you might mishap, that might lead to a mishap, right? Or they might be confused about what you're trying to do, right? So make sure that you have gone through the strategy yourself, right? And know what you're going to say, know how you're going to follow through and all of that, and then stick to it. Just consistency, right? Small steps matter, right? Consistency beats perfection, and you remember that you are your child's safe space, right? There's a video here that I linked. It's 5 signs that you are not your child's safe space. So it's just an interesting thing that my psychologist talks about. To identify whether or not your child feels safe being around you or sharing things with you or whatnot. So that's kind of it for our presentation. We have just a couple more things to share.
Yeah, so we have, these are some resources, books. Some of them I have read, some of them I have not. I have this really good book that I'm reading right now. It's called The Whole Brain Child. Again, it talks about strategies and ways to connect with your child. There's another book. It is in a sense of talking about motivation too. It's like a whole package that he talks about. Just like motivation, internal motivation, how parents can check themselves before parenting as well.
It talks about the upstairs brain, and the downstairs brain.
Yes.
So
the lid.
so how your child self-regulates and how you could support that or be a hindrance to that, right? So it's really interesting read. This one is also a good one, how to talk so kids will listen and how to listen so kids will talk. Mm-hmm. A lot of this is communication skills, right? How to improve communication skills. Within your, your bond with your child, helping them deal with their feelings, encouraging cooperation, how to use punishment effectively, right? How to encourage them to be independent, how to praise correctly, right? And how to free kids from labels or roles, right? Another book is The Explosive Child.
I read this book. This is a really good book.
So this is about it's about different ways that children can be explosive, right? This term is when they're severely dysregulated, right? How to deal with that? How to build skills to help them with their emotions so that they can be successful overall. So it's a good read as well. We talked before about Smart But Scattered in our last workshop. That's a great resource as well. And then there's Parenting from the Inside Out is also another good book.
I just read that book. That's also a really good book there. Dan Siegel is a really good author. He talks about if our unresolved issues come into our parenting and how to resolve our issues first and then come over
From our generation.
For sure.
We grew up from a different generation of parents. So.
We're damaged, but we're not damaged.
Yeah. So this website, Child Mind Institute, is a great resource. So is understood.org. These are all also on our counseling page, right? Our counseling webpage. Cozy Organizer. This is basically a shared calendar for all events. All family members would share this calendar and add to it, and there's reminders and things. It's a good app to use if you like to do that. Class Dojo. I don't know if they use it here at school, but
we use it at my kids in public school. They use it.
but it's also a great resource to help encourage students to do certain tasks. Like you can give them points, you can reward them. It's like basically keeps track of rewards. So it's a great tool. This is like a motivation personality quiz for parents to take it to kind of gauge their child's their child's motivation level. You do have to put in an email address to get the results, but it's a free quiz. And yeah, we just wanted to. Sorry, do you want me to go back?
You got it. Okay.
Got it? Okay. We just wanted to talk to you guys about what do you feel was most helpful from this workshop, and what barriers do you see in helping your child succeed?
Or any other questions that you guys have, you all have. Yeah.
Sorry, so I do have a separate question from this because my kids are a little older.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of not trying to motivate them with house chores and stuff.
Yeah.
They've been beaten into submission on that.
Are you in the I don't care phase?
No, it's almost more like, so my oldest one, and you guys have heard this before, super academically oriented. I don't have to worry about getting motivated about school. My younger two, they, you know how you said 25 minutes of homework, 5 minutes of break? They don't even have 25 minutes of homework. It's done in 2 minutes, or they say they did it at school.
Yeah.
And I want them to be a little bit more motivated academically.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be like, listen, Isa, your middle school determines when you get to honors in high school. Your high school determines college. College determines who you marry. You need to get focused. So I'm looking for how to motivate them without making gloom and doom, or you have to be a doctor or something like that.
Well, I
But
would
feel like
say.
he just is skating.
Yeah.
I would say if they're done with homework earlier, or if they don't have any, great. Let's go to the library and get a book. Let's go pick out a book of your choice that you're going to read and give me a summary of it, right? Let's learn something new, right? Let's see what activities there are. I think it was you that mentioned use the library, forest preserve, other places.
And that's why you try to keep them busy.
Yeah.
And keep them off the street.
But now it's cold out, so you can't do outside activities. But yeah.
Going back to the timer or whatnot, that. So what you have to do what works best for you, right, in your family. So let's say if you need 15 minutes or maybe 10 minutes, you're gonna time that. You have 10 minutes to finish whatever you need to finish, and then you get a 5-minute break, right? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, so if adjust it to meet the needs of your family, right? Some people will have 25 minutes, some people will have 30 minutes. But because we're so busy with our day-to-day stuff, we actually don't have 25, right? So do what is best for you, and also if he's done with, the kids are done with X, Y, or Z. All right, so let's pick activity that you want to do. No screen time. You're gonna be creative. If you just want to sit here and we can hang out, let's hang out.
Yeah.
Or get them those complex Lego sets.
Yeah, he does love this.
Something where
Those will take up a few hours.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
Easily.
and some frustration.
Yeah.
Yeah, my 10-year-old loves Legos, so I just get him these 5,000-piece ones. You just go sit there.
I just had something to add. We have an Isa in the family too. He's around. He's the eldest nephew I have. He's also skating through middle school. So what I've seen my sister and brother-in-law do is they're done with homework very quickly too. Then they have something I think it's IXL, some of the kids do.
Oh, yeah.
So they have that on the computer. They're you have to do one task of that, one activity of that today.
Yeah.
You must finish it. And then the other, we're doing with Suleiman, we tell him you have to do Duolingo. You have to do an Arabic class today. So that's kind of academically, it's not an activity away from the maths work or the homework, and it kind of keeps them ahead of schedule in class as well. So when it comes to it, he says oh, I've already done that. The homework is going to be easier.
Right.
And then he doesn't like English or he doesn't like science. So then they chose a academic workshop which is based on science. Do one classwork today. After you're done with your homework, you're going to sit on the laptop and you're going to do one task. Then you can move on to other activities. So it's still academically prescribed, but it's still an activity.
Right.
So, and that kind of keeps up with the staying ahead off the curve,
Sure.
like for middle school or high school.
And like,
Kind of.
yeah, in libraries, when it comes to reading, they have like lists of what like is appropriate for each grade level, right? Have them go up one grade level.
Yeah.
See how they can handle those kind of books
And just not just reading, but like comprehending too. If you read this, you need to help. Like you ask questions. And
it has
that
to be
means there's
something
some
they're
kind of
interested in.
His age.
Is
Yeah,
it for
it's-
children?
That's what I'm saying. Find it or not. Why not start one?
Yeah. That
Right.
would be a good idea. If they get
So
kids
I
together,
like
too.
my kids are younger, but I have one for like my first grader. But all my kids go, and they all read that book.
What does it start? A
Book club.
Oh,
yeah,
book
just
club,
start
yeah.
one. So like the girls in the first grade had it. So the boy moms were like, well, what about our kids? So we started it.
Yeah, so I've seen that book club at Skokie Library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So like just do something like that where it motivates them. They get to pick a book, like, and I mean, library is your second home probably, right? So therefore, I don't know. I just thought it was a great. If I have time, I'm actually gonna start that for my third grader too, because he loves to read. Like he just walks around with his book. My kids sleep with their books sometimes.
That's awesome.
Alhamdulillah, I hope that
my
doesn't
kids
change.
read the book.
But just because you learn so much, and then their creativity continues to work when it's like this and the screen's not flat, but it's like this, So, but that's something I think you could do if he doesn't if he's interested in reading, do it.
Yeah, let us know how. We got that group, our parent circle coming up, so you can update.
Early January 12th.
What's one takeaway that you all have gotten from this presentation?
We can go around and
Yeah,
kind of
looking everyone
share.
around.
Would you like to share?
Yeah, one takeaway.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have a question though.
Yes, sure.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
gonna help us to connect
Yeah.
what we are learning with our Islamic values.
Yes.
The question that I have for you is that how would you connect with our Islamic value this presentation?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I mean, I
How do
think-
you connect this presentation to our Islamic values?
Yeah, I think Islam definitely encourages us to foster that connection with our kids, right? And to to praise them and to have patience with them and to understand that they're young and they're learning, right? Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam never reprimanded a young child, right? He kind of just let them be and then kind of taught them, later on how to behave or what the replacement behavior can be, right? So I think it's just it connects very well. Like it's just a connection, having that bond with your parents, right? And it could be lifelong too. Like the connections. It's important to understand the connections you're having with your children now, right? That's what builds like lifelong relationships, right? You don't want to have the child that never comes back to parents when they're older, right? Never really talks to them or keeps them in their life. So, I think that's kind of how
One
it
of
is.
the good things about Islam, right, is that we have been taught. There are already examples of everything that we've talked about, and right now we're just it's just like new age, new decades, new century. It's just getting revamped and being accommodating to our kids today. But it's all there. Yes.
So one connection I made when we were discussing about us being, different parents is when Hadrat Ali had mentioned, when you are raising your child, you grew up at a different time, and to recognize that they're growing up at a different time. So we as parents have to make that change. So whenever I think, I never had, my mom never had to tell me to do this many times, but it's a different time, right? So that was when we were talking, that was what popped up in my mind is this is a different time and we have to be adaptable, right? So that was my Islamic connection.
One small thing we do is for cleaning up, we kind of just tell them Muslims are clean.
Yeah.
We're not dirty. In the bathroom we don't waste water, so they're not allowed to play with water, splash it everywhere. So just small little things, not big Islamic principles or anything, but little things remind them, hey, we're Muslims and we do things this way.
Yes, that's excellent.
The one thing that I am trying, maybe I am the oldest here, I became a grandpa past summer.
Congratulations.
One thing that I am trying is that remind myself that our children are blessings.
Yes.
So they are responsibilities. When I see my grandchild, I remember that I won't be at that home. So I need to make sure that my Hasana book should stay open by growing really good children, good Muslims that we need to remember. In Quran, there are so many prayers coming from the famous prophets and also the Sahaba. These are the examples for us that we need to remember. And also having this context is going to give us energy and handling all these daily problems with a proper way.
Right.
That the children, they are young, they're allowed to make mistakes, but as an adult, I don't have that luxury. So I need to not react, maybe take our time, whatever way you want to handle the issues coming from. And also understand that as a parent, we can do only so much. And that's why MCC, I congratulate MCC that they are providing us this kind of meetings, connecting with our community resources, creating an atmosphere with them. I keep laughing this thing. My son comes home and say, I have this teacher hides a pencil in his beard. What's up? That's something. It becomes a culture and becomes a value for them that they're not just themselves. We have Wednesday's group, maybe Sculpture Library. All these things is important. We are not alone in this endeavor.
You know, one other thing I want to add is, you know, when we were talking about like, oh, why do we have to have this motivation? Why do we have to? And what I was thinking was, well, if we didn't have Jannah as motivation, would we be as good as we try to be? Like, you know, so the way Allah has created us, we seek reward.
Right.
In order to do that. And so that was one of the things I thought of when we were talking. Like, I do sometimes, like, I laugh at myself sometimes. I'm like, man, I told my kid, thank you for eating the food I gave him, you know, like, thank you for not giving me a hard time. And then I think, like, man, my mom would have been like, you gotta eat this. This is what's cooked for dinner. That's it. You know, and then I just think to myself, well, you know, there's a reward in everything, right? Even being patient is a big reward. But one other thing is, if I make mistakes, I'm very open to telling my kids, I'm sorry, I made that mistake.
Owning up.
Right. Owning up to it. Say, you know what? Whether it's losing my cool, whether I forgot something, whatever it is, something big or small, but I make it a thing that, so that if they make a mistake, they realize it and they say, you know, oops, I forgot this, right? Don't be hard on yourself. Like, hey, we messed up.
No.
So, like, that's one thing where I'm like, you know, because sometimes I don't want my kids to think, like, anybody's perfect, right? And then I don't ever want them to think that if they messed up, they can't tell us, right? I want to make sure I start opening that door of, especially as they get older. And, you know, challenges are different now. Like, they're very hard. Like, things that these kids are going through as they are getting older. Again, with social media and everything, it's like, I want that door to be open, and I want to start opening it now where you're like, oh, I messed up. Feel free to tell me. That's been my big thing. Like, I started that one since they're younger. Hopefully, you know, they won't mess up big time. But if they do, I don't ever want them to think, oh my God, my dad's gonna kill me or my mom's gonna kill me. It's gonna be like, I gotta tell them this so we can solve it. Inshallah. So.
I just wanted to add that, you know, from what I took away from this, a lot of it I felt like, you know, how the brother said about how it connects to our Islamic values. I feel like these are also kind of like, when I saw the page for motivation, I was like, oh, you know, my salah is my motivation. Get this done by Zuhr. I need this done before Maghrib. You know, that's how I think I need to have that done by Asr. And then chunking, I think the 5 salahs is a perfect example of chunking, how we break it up. And like the accountability, 5 times a day we're allowed to go to Allah and ask for forgiveness. To say sorry for something I've done.
For us.
It's creating a schedule, and that I feel is like a huge motivator for me when I go to, like, just to sit in dua, and I teach it to Suleiman now, and he sits. I mean, the first thing he asks for is 100 watermelons. Every dua starts with 100 watermelons. It's like a thing for him. But it's so sweet how I've learned, like, over the years, how he's asking, like, different duas. Like, you know, and I can see the growth in him. And I think, oh my gosh, he's learning how to go back every day. It's not consistent, but we're getting there. And I felt like as an adult, I need that. Even now, like, and I was like, I wish I had this as a child. I don't think I was as good as my kids as a child. I think I was very spoiled. So I feel like if my kids are having this sort of a foundation from MCC, inshallah they'll be in a better place than in their teens or than what we are.
Yeah, one of the biggest examples that we have, right, us parents. Yes, there is school. Yes, there's all these things that are lined up for the kids. But one of the biggest motivators and examples are us as parents. Are we doing the necessary tasks for them to be successful? Right? Are we setting a good example for them? Just a thought. Ask yourself that. Thank you. I hope this was really engaging.
Thank you for
I love this
attending.
presentation. I was more engaged than anybody. But it was really, I hope you all got something out of this, inshallah. And our next workshop is going to be on the 17th. Our next circle is going to be that week after we come back from our winter break. I think it is the 7th, I believe. Yeah, we're going to be back on this, we'll be, that's Wednesday. And then 17th will be our,
So right before Ramadan starts.
We'll see you.
right before the Ramadan shot. Yep, exactly. Right. Ramadan is when? Like 19th. Okay.
So